Hello and welcome to a brand new class here with me. I'm Helga, your instructor on the Sun Yoga Flow online studio. In today's class, I'm going to be addressing myself to those of you that are beginners, right? So those of you that perhaps have had an interest in yoga and you haven't really tried it yet, you don't know where to start. So we're just going to go through a 15 minutes typical Vinyasa yoga class. And I'll go rather slow. I'll talk you through all the main basic poses that you would find in a Vinyasa class. And I'm just going to invite you today to connect to your body, connect to the beautiful practice of yoga and how it can really help you feel quite powerful and uplifted inside, right? To tell you a few things about yoga just generally. So yoga or asana. Asana is a word in Sanskrit that means the practice of yoga on the mat. So the physical sort of workout, type of yoga where we go into poses. And then of course you have the philosophy of yoga and just yoga in general as a way of living, and it's a lot to do with kindness to self and others and the world, and anchoring yourself within that harmony and that balance within you but everything as well. And as to Vinyasa, so the type of yoga that we're going to be practicing today and that you'll find a lot on this channel, Vinyasa yoga. So that is a type of yoga that is practiced on the mat, and we go through different poses, and it's rather upbeat, so it's rather fast paced. You flow through the poses and you're sort of looking at synchronizing your movements and your breath, right? So it's really a combination of breath and movement, done at quite a fast pace on the mat. And it usually starts with, maybe sitting down, taking a moment, then getting into, a few relaxing poses, sitting or laying down. And then you get up and you start to flow through standing poses and balancing poses. And then you end in a bit of a wind down, go back to, a tabletop position on the mat, and go through a few poses that are more restorative, and finally you end in savasana, which is the relaxation pose, and we usually allow 2 to 3 to 5 even minutes in that meditation state, and then we close the practice. So I invite you to keep an open mind today, to really just be here for yourself and of course enjoy. So let's start. Come and sit on your mat, cross-legged, and place the palms of your hands on your laps, on your knees, and let the palms face up. You can have your index finger and thumb touching if you want, for more connection. And just start to notice your breath as you sit upright. Connect to the present moment, you, your body, on your mat, in this world around you. And let's start now to flow on the mat. And our first pose today is going to be child's pose. So come first in a tabletop position, and then take your knees out wide, big toes touching, and then forehead comes down on the mat and your arms are extended on the mat. This is a pose that you'll very often find in lots of types of yoga, and it's a very good way to start your practice. Really dropping the head down, letting all your thoughts just melt away into the earth. Breathing into the lower back, the hips, and taking that moment for yourself, tuning into the body. And noticing the breath as well here, just breathing in smoothly, in through the nostrils perhaps, and then out through mouth. Now gently lift yourself up to tabletop again. And we're going to be doing a few cat-cows. So look up and inhale and arch your back. And then round your back, drop the head and exhale. Do that a few times. Inhale, look up, shoulders go back. And then exhale, drop your head round the back, pushing the floor away. And inhale, look up, and the hands are firmly on your mat, fingers are spread. Exhale, drop your head around the back. Inhale, look up, arch your back. And big nice exhale as you drop the head. Come back to your neutral tabletop and tuck your toes under and lift your knees just slightly off the ground. See how that feels. Really anchor through the hands. We're basically preparing for down dog. And lower your knees down now. Take a big nice inhale and lift your knees up again. And push the hips up into the sky, and we're basically now in down dog. Downward facing dog. So this is a position you're going to find in yoga, and you're very welcome to bend your knees here, okay? And your chest should be fairly close to your thighs rather than forward. So we're sort of pushing the floor away, right? Close to the thighs. And now just very gently look between your hands and walk yourself all the way to the front of your mat and rise up to standing. You can take a mountain pose, standing mountain pose, arms alongside you and palms facing forward, just anchoring through your body and your breath before we continue. Now raise your arms all the way up to sky and inhale. Then exhale and forward fold all the way down to the ground. And then inhale, half lift, the back is flat. And then take a nice exhale and bring yourself into a plank position. And then you're going to place your knees down on the ground first and untuck your toes. Bring your elbows inwards slightly towards you and start to just bring your whole body down to the floor. And then lift up and just basically look in front of you. Have your chest slightly raised and the forearms on the mat. This is Sphinx pose. So what we've just done now is your typical Vinyasa, your typical flow or sun salutation. Now tuck your toes under and lift yourself up in down dog. So you can still have your knees bent, but perhaps you'd like to try to walk your dog. So bending one knee and then straightening the other leg. And then straightening that leg that you had just bent and bend the other and so forth. So walking the dog. And you're looking between your thighs. Fingers are spread. Okay. Now look between your hands and walk yourself to the front of the mat again. Rise up in standing. Raise your arms overhead and big nice inhale and then exhale, forward fold to the ground. Take an inhale and find your half lift. And then finally exhale and come into plank. And just as we did earlier, place your knees down first and then chest comes all the way down, up into Sphinx. Inhaling into lower back here, squeezing the glutes. And then push your whole body up and into down dog. Raise your right foot off the ground and place that right foot at the front of the mat between your hands and rise up in high lunge. So both of your feet, both are facing forward, but the back heel is lifted slightly off the mat. Your front foot is bent. And then you can take the arms overhead. This is high lunge. Breathing into the center of your body here. And then we're switching into Warrior Two, which is a really common and beautiful pose in yoga. So your back heel has now come much closer to you and the toes are pointed out. Front knee still bent and the arms are both extended. And make your way to the front of the mat, standing position. Well done. Take an inhale, raise arms overhead, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step into plank. And just simply now push straight into your down dog. And raise your left foot off the ground when you're ready and place it between your hands. We're going to be taking high lunge just as we did now on this side. So to do the same pose just on the different side of the body, see how that feels. So now the left knee is bent and right heel is lifted off the mat. And arms come up to sky. And transition into Warrior Two, sweeping that heel closer toward you and toes come out. Front knees bent and arms are extended. Come stand at the front of your mat. And we're going to be taking a balancing pose now, one of my personal favorites, tree pose. So perhaps come at the middle of your mat and start to anchor your right foot into the ground as you lift the left foot off and place the sole of the foot just inside the calf of that right foot. And you can have your hands either in prayer or up in the sky like branches of a tree. This pose is a great reminder of nature, how nature is connected to us and always within us. Now place your foot back down on the mat and we're going to be doing tree pose on the other side. So this time left foot stands strong on the mat and we're lifting right foot, sole of right foot into the calf of the standing foot. And then take your hands either in prayer or up into branches. And really enjoy finding the harmony, the center within you in this standing balancing pose. You can even challenge yourself for a second and close your eyes and see how that feels. And place your foot back down on the mat when you're ready. Now we're done with the standing poses and we're going to be just sitting on the mat. Come and sit on your mat and feet and legs are extended. Sitting up tall, raising arms overhead, really elongating the spine, and then folding over your legs. And hands can grab toes or calf or just your mat. Breathing a few times here into the hamstrings, into the back of the legs. You can have your feet slightly flexed toward you for a deeper stretch. Very nice. Release that pose and come and lay now on your mat, back on the ground, and lift your hips up into bridge pose. So knees and thighs fairly close, squeezing the glutes and really sending the pubic bones high up to the sky. This is great for digestion and just for your whole body and the energy center within your belly, connecting to that fire within, squeezing still. And then eventually slowly come back down on the mat, middle back, lower back. And take your knees into chest and then lift the feet up with the knees bent. Grab hold of your big toes or outside of feet for happy baby. This is a really great pose. Happy baby, often used at the end of a yoga class to rewind. And when you're ready, release that pose and just extend your legs. Coming into our final pose of today's class, Shavasana, resting pose. In Shavasana, we are closing the eyes, okay? So go ahead and close your eyes. Let your face be very soft and relaxed. Your feet, your ankles have quite a bit of space between them. So just let the legs fall how they want to fall. Legs are extended flat on your mat. And your arms are fairly close to your body. They're just laying on the mat as well, with the palms facing up to the sky. There is a little bit of space between your arms and your body, but not too much. And in Shavasana, we really just tune inward, okay? So this is a time to maybe notice your body, notice the sensations, and notice the subtle energies. You know, maybe you feel some tingles, or maybe you just feel a really good wave of energy flowing through your body after moving on the mat. Perhaps you just feel quite peaceful and zen, and you're enjoying laying in this relaxation pose for a moment. And we're letting the whole body just be quite heavy and supported by the gravity of the earth. We're not trying to hold a certain shape, we're actually just really letting go here, really letting go. And we're equally drawn into the earth, supported by her. But at the same time, we're feeling quite light as a feather, floating in the air, floating in the sky as a free spirit. So you have that dynamic in Shavasana, both relaxation and having the body quite heavy and anchored into the earth. But at the same time, we are enjoying these subtle energies of aliveness, right? Of feeling that aliveness in you. So just enjoy these few minutes. We're going to take about 2 minutes here in silence in Shavasana with the eyes closed. And I will tell you when to open your eyes and end the practice. Now take a big nice inhale and start to just move your fingers a little bit and your toes, bringing back some movement. And then take your knees either into chest or just have the soles of the feet on the mat. And raise your arms overhead. Take a nice full body stretch. And then in your own time, come up to a seated position. So just roll onto one side and bring yourself up in that way. Now take your hands into prayer and place them by your heart space, and give gratitude for your practice today. Bow down, bow the head down onto the hands in prayer. And when you are ready, you can raise your head again and just rub the palms of your hands together to create heat and energy and to close the practice. And then place those hands on the eyelids, on your eyes that are closed. And then just peel the hands and fingers away, opening the eyes slowly. Thank you so much for practicing yoga today. I'm so happy that we connected through this practice, and hopefully we will do many more yoga classes together. Take care. I will see you next Saturday.